Welcome to YouTube Tips with Pete. As we start this channel, it's best we start with one of the biggest questions you should ask yourself when it comes to becoming a YouTube creator. Should you even start a YouTube channel? Here's my advice, coming from a small YouTuber. So, I would recommend first going over some basic questions. If you can answer these questions, you know whether you should or not. These questions are, the first one, why do I want to start a YouTube channel? It kind of ties into number 2 as well when you talk about this. But why do I want? Is it because you want to make money? Is it because there's a certain topic you want to talk about? What is it that draws you to YouTube? Is it that you saw your favorite creators on here and you're like, I want to be like them and start a YouTube channel? All these questions are important to ask yourself when you're talking about starting a YouTube channel. Why would I want to start a YouTube channel? Because it's, as we're going to talk about in this video and later videos, it's not an easy journey. I've been at it for a year and I'm about 100 subscribers in, which is honestly pretty good. For being a year in, I wish I could be better, but the fact of the matter is I'm growing slowly. I'm not able to put all my time and effort in, which is a later question we're going to ask ourselves. But yeah, why do you want to start a YouTube channel? In my mind, I started my YouTube channel because I like talking about movies. And because of that, I wanted to dedicate a YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about movies with people who would actually care to listen to what I have to say about movies. So that's why I started my YouTube channel. I like watching movies. I like discussing movies. So I made a YouTube channel to discuss that, which leads us into our next question. Do you have a niche or something you want to talk about? I already kind of discussed this, but the question of, so in my case, yes, I did. I want to talk about movies. And kind of a question down from this is, okay, now do you think this is something you can do for years and years on end? Yes, I feel like I can. Then good, you're set. But the big thing is, while some people might say, oh, I want to become a YouTube creator, but you don't have a niche picked out, that's okay. That's okay. Some people choose to say, I want to become a content creator, and then as you're starting it, then you're like, okay, but what do I want to start? For example, right, I said I want to start a website, and I'm like, what do I want to talk about? And then I realized, oh, something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about Wilderness Survivor. So I started a website called WiredSurvivorTips.com, where I talk about tips on Wilderness Survivor stuff. So there are cases where you can, I want to do this, now I need to find a niche. But for the most part, I would recommend find a niche, and that's what leads you into saying, where do I want to talk about my niche on? And most people say YouTube, and that's okay. So finding your niche, you can do it after you decide to start YouTube, but for the most part, I would recommend find your niche and then start YouTube. Which leads us into a big question that's important that I wish I had addressed. Kind of I did, but put more thought into the long-term future when it comes to this question. How much time can I set aside to YouTube? And yes, you have stuff happening in your life. I had a bunch of work I had to do for my parents. I had all this different stuff. My parents are doing a bunch of work on their house right now, so they spend a lot of time in my house. Thus, I'm not able to record videos that much. I'm not able to get to editing that much. So there are some stuff like that, but for the most part, do I have time? The question of, do I have time to put to YouTube? Yeah. Do you have time to put towards this thing? You might say yes, but then the moment you start doing it, you don't realize how much. The average YouTuber who's actually going professional with it puts close to 60 hours in a week. So it's not the whole idea that people have of YouTube is the cheap way of getting money, where you only have to put a little bit of work in. You put more hours in to YouTube than if you actually dedicated to actually doing the good on YouTube than you would put into a job, a 40-hour job versus 60 hours a week with YouTube. So you can just go simple. I would recommend, do I have at least 1 or 2 hours every day I can put to YouTube? Then you have one day that you plan and record your video, the next day that you edit it, and the next day you produce it. There you go, right? And if you're putting out multiple videos a week, you can do that. But the fact of the matter is you have to have some time in your schedule that you can actually put to YouTube. If you're saying, I have an extra 10 minutes every day, you're probably not going to be able to get to most YouTubers. I would say that in a later video I'll talk about this, is the difference between long form and short form content. If you only have a little bit of time, but you still like, I really want to put some time to YouTube and I don't have much time, yeah, always just consider starting. But I would recommend, in that case, put most of your time into, let's put YouTube Shorts out there, because the fact of the matter is, you plan, you record, you edit, and it takes like at most an hour to do that for a YouTube Short versus long form content. If you're filming something that's 15 minutes long of recording, goes down to being 10 minutes, you have to spend like an hour to an hour and a half editing that. So that's already, you spent 15 minutes on that, you spent an hour and a half on the editing, and then you spent probably like another 30 minutes on planning it. That's already close to 2.5 hours. And then what about actually uploading it to YouTube? That can take a couple minutes. Plus you also have to find the right tags, all that stuff. So we can bump it up to saying, even with something like that, and that's like very much on the low end. That takes 3 hours. You have to have 3 hours. You have to have at least 3 hours a week that you can put towards YouTube. That might be possible for some people, but you have to think about, okay, is there anything in my life right now that might cause me to not be able to do that? So that's a question you have to ask yourself. Again, I'm going to put into another video talking about my opinions on YouTube Shorts versus long form content. Next question, that's also a very important question that you might not think about, is how much money do I need and what equipment do I need to start a YouTube channel? This is a question I can give. My opinion is you don't have to spend that much to start out. I'm still, and I will eventually, once I have an income coming from YouTube, I'll get a better camera and stuff like that. Right now, I'm using a external webcam, a 1080p webcam, and a clip-on mic for my audio. So you can start up pretty small. I will admit that I'm about to, and I'm in the middle of doing this. I just invested a bunch of a good amount of money down to build myself a video editing PC, because I'm realizing that the laptop I'm using, it's a good laptop, but the fact of the matter is, to resolve the video editing software I'm using, a normal PC for writing stuff sometimes has trouble with running programs like that are like solid like filmmaking programs, because they use a lot more, too much RAM and stuff like that on your computer that a normal PC laptop type would use when you're like dealing with just writing papers and stuff. So I will say that you don't need that, but for the most part I would say at most when you're starting out, don't spend too much money because you don't know if you're going to do well on this. I only spent a total of maybe at most $50 to build my whole setup because I wanted to save as much money as I can, and I'm still a year into it, still using that same setup. The last question is one of the biggest questions you have to ask yourself, and that's really important to know, and that is, am I the type of person who can actually put hours and hours into this stuff without getting a penny back? Because you're going to have to do that. I have over 100 videos on my channel right now, and I have almost 100 subscribers. So I put probably over 100 hours into my content, and I still haven't got a single penny off of it. So you have to think about that. Am I actually the type of person who is willing to put years of my life into a passion project that I won't get money from? You might grow really fast, and you might get some money, or you might not. You have to think about that. It's a YouTuber, again, I will talk about in other videos about breaking down my passionate stuff about when I was first starting. I first told my family about it. My sister, she's now a little bit more warmed up to it, but for the most part, she was really against the idea of me being a YouTuber because she thought that YouTubers were lazy people. And it got me really passionate about defending YouTubers after I started getting more and more into it and realizing you put 60 hours a week if you are going full-time on YouTube, and you're getting sometimes less than you would get from a job. Now, that in that case, you should probably be working a job, but the fact of the matter is you're putting more hours in than you put into other jobs. So, but the thing is, I also have a lot of respect for those YouTubers who started out small, who did not immediately somehow hit the jackpot and get really rich really fast off of YouTube. They started from the beginning and they slowly grew up. And now, honestly, some of those people deserve what they get now that they have a couple million subscribers. They deserve it because they took the time years after years after years of slowly building up their channel. And you have to think about that for yourself. Are you the type of person who is willing to put years of your life into something that you're going to also have to work an outside job as well to pay for your living while you're still building up to actually be able to go full-time with your passion? So you have to think about that when you're thinking about joining, when you think about starting a YouTube channel. So those are the big questions you have to ask yourself. And it's important that you guys answer these questions. In the comment section down below, give a brief answer to all these questions. You can easily just say yes, 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 almost. You can just say, first question, why do I want to start a YouTube channel? Just say, hey, this is why I want to start a YouTube channel. And explain your niche. Explain how much time you, to say, hey, yeah, and I'm planning on putting this many hours in. And the people in the comment section be like, oh yeah, that should work. And you just go through these questions and ask yourself. You don't have to put them in the comment section, but you can to get other people's opinion. But this is a community to help others grow. This is not a community to get rich off of. We are here to say, hey, as a small YouTuber, I want to dedicate time to helping you guys. And I want you guys to also help each other. Alright, so ask yourself these questions. The questions are, why do I want to start a YouTube channel? Do I have a niche or a topic that I'm really passionate about that I can talk about forever? How much time can I put into YouTube? How much money what money and equipment do I need to start my channel? Depends on the channel, but sometimes you can just do very simple. And then, how am I the type of person who can actually do something for years without making money? So a little thing before I end, I just want to make sure you guys understand, right? And I'll talk about this in later videos, but one thing is, how long does it take to get monetized? So for those who may not know, to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. To get there, the average it takes is around 15 months to get to 1,000. 15 months. That's close to a year and a half of doing YouTube without getting a penny off of it. Now, we will talk about later about the new opportunities we have to make money without reaching 1,000 subscribers, but that is important. The other question is, you have to wonder for yourself, this comes from Business Insider, for each 1,000 subscribers, you can get from $1.61 to $29.30 for 1,000 views. So for that, right? So that might sound like, for those who are really new to this, that might sound like, what? Only that for 1,000? It makes sense to me because I've been researching this stuff a lot. But yeah, basically, you're getting close to, you can get close to a penny at most, practically, for your view, for each view. You can get close to a penny at, like, that's one of the highest things you can get. You might be able, with certain niches, be able to get to 2 pennies, but the fact of the matter is, you're not going to have a bunch for each view. You're going to, as you advance, that a YouTuber can make between $82 to $83,000 a month, which is really great on the high end. But you have to remember that the low end, you might only be making close to $100 a month, which that's with really small creators. When you only get in like 1,000 views, you can, or 10,000 views. That's when you're starting to get to only like $100 a month. While when you're getting to 1 million views, you can get up to close to 50,000. When you're getting like 100,000 views, 100 million views, that's when you start getting into the millions and stuff like that. So keep that in mind, that you won't be able to make too much off of YouTube. So if any of you guys are really big into this idea of people have of grow on YouTube, you'll make millions. No, you're not going to make millions off of YouTube unless you really want to dedicate your whole life to really pushing in and building an audience. So keep that in mind, guys. So overall, guys, these are my suggestions, my questions I would ask you guys if you guys want to start a YouTube channel. For those who are new and haven't seen my previous videos on this channel, again, is dedicated to helping. As a small YouTuber, I run a YouTube channel called The Movie Night Reviewer. At current time of recording this video, we are at 97 subscribers. I've been at it for like over a year now. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary of my channel, and I'm slowly growing. And I haven't been able to put as much time as I should, but in the fact of the matter is, I've learned stuff all along this year, and I'll talk about that in videos coming up. So guys, if you guys haven't yet and you're interested, please subscribe so you guys can see those videos when they come out, because I'm hoping they can be very helpful for you guys to understand from a small creator. This is the stuff I've learned when it comes to should you be happy when Google put ads on your videos before you're monetized? Should I make long form or short form content coming from a small creator? All that stuff. So you guys, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. This has been YouTube Tips with Pete. Peter Wary, signing off.